Hi, my name is Kenneth Paul, and this is my woodworking shop. It's a genuine pleasure to have you here. I make these videos to share with you the woodworking techniques and the projects that I make here in my shop. Today's video is by request. Somebody asked me to do a tour of the shop, what equipment I use, what hand tools, and how I have it laid out. Well, we'll get to that, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll answer them. Alright, and as always, if you like the content I'm producing here, do me a favor, hit subscribe, hit like, you know the drill. Alright, let's get to it. Alright, this is my woodworking shop. In the 1920s and 30s, it was a cottage industry. They made small wooden baskets here. It's divided basically into two rooms. My shop room, which is about 430 square feet, and my storage for tools I'm not using at the moment, and wood storage. That section's about 360 square feet or so. So all told, the building's about 800 square feet. But like I say, the shop is only about 430 square feet, which is about the size of your standard garage shop. Well, let's go inside. Alright, where to start? I think we'll start in the corner over here. This is an Hitachi F1000A 12-inch planer, 6-inch joiner with the fold-down extension leaves. This has been a real workhorse. It's unbelievable the amount of timber I have passed through this thing. The only thing I've ever had to do to it is occasionally lube it and change the brushes. I have it situated here by the door so that in the nice weather I can open the door, pass the lumber out, and in the winter I have it situated by the door going into the storage room so I can pass longer stock. Alright, what we have here is a Shopsmith. I know, oh God, a Shopsmith. It's actually, I think it's a handy piece of equipment. I use it for an occasional drill press. I use it as my lathe. I use it for its horizontal boring. I use it for the sanding disc. And sometimes if I have the table saw dedicated to another operation, I can use this for the cross cutting and keep my other store set up. You can see on the bottom where I attached a case that rolls with the Shopsmith. Oh, and as most tools in the shop, you'll notice the F1000 is mounted on its own mobile base. The Shopsmith is obviously on a mobile base. I have two bandsaws in the shop. This bandsaw I keep set up with just a 1/8 inch blade for fine work. I've also got a biscuiting set up for this, which is nice because I just stand it up and I use it as a freestanding biscuit station. I've also got a gear reduction on this that I can use for polishing or slow down the bandsaw enough to cut metal, plastics, bone. Alright, over here is where I keep my table saw blades. Most of my blades are either Forest, that's the Forest Thin Kerf Woodworker 2, Diablo, the regular Forest Woodworker, a CMT blade. On the bottom's where I keep my stacked dado. Alright. I've got a vise set up on the corner of this bench, a metalworking vise. Probably won't come out too good in the video here, but I've got a bunch of large bar clamps under that bench. And over here I keep assorted odd screws, little 256 screws, 448s, everything from self-tap screws, little rivets, T-nuts, star washers, you name it. That little one in the middle there is mainly different brads. And then odd screws in the next one. The Heckner Scroll Saw, in my opinion, the best of the scroll saws. I have another one. I have a DeWalt, which is a wonderful scroll saw. I recommend it, but I do like the Heckner Scroll Saw. My little, if I'm not using the Shopsmith as a drill press, this is the drill press I use. Does my work. I've got a Hitachi 10-inch slide miter, FS10. Another, again, that's been through years of work, and it's been a wonderful saw. Assortments of clamps, hanging clamps, large T-squares, bar clamps. Over here we have files. Yes, I know I have a file problem. I've got, regular half rounds. I got square basket files, round files, rasps, triangular files, mill finish files, specialty knife edge files. In this cabinet I also keep my waxes, some of the finishes, different glues. My favorite PVA glue is Titebond Type 2. I think it has higher initial tack than the Titebond Type 3. System T88 by System 3, as far as I'm concerned, the strongest epoxy you can get. Cyanoacrylic glues, I like the Super T. 5-minute epoxy for quick setups. Okay. Over here we have hand saws. And we have my bench plane till. Most of these are a lot older than I am. All but two, actually. This is a new edition, which you just saw me do a tool review on, the Wood River 5.5, and the Wood River low angle block plane, which is a copy of the old Stanley, which it's, if I had to make do with just two planes, it'd be the number 4 and the low angle block plane. If I can keep the 5.5 for a shooter board, that's a wonderful thing. Like I say, the other planes have their use, the 4.5, the number 7, the 3, sometimes. Alright, an old school locker here. On the outside of it, I've got a set of bench chisels, Wood River. Okay. I've got this box set up on French cleats so I can lift it off the wall and take it with me. Inside I have a set of the old Stanleys from 1/8 to 2-inch. I've got spoke shaves, curved bottom spoke shave, one of the big old Cooper spoke shaves, another assortment of planes, an old Stanley 12.5, some draw knives, old braces and bits, hand drills, saw sharpening equipment, band clamps. This cabinet is my sanding. On the bottom we got belt sanders and belts. We've got orbitals, random orbit sanders and quarter sheet palm sanders, sandpapers, extra belts for the abrasive planer, hand sanding equipment, different grits of Scotch-Brite. In this cabinet I've got some laminate routers, die grinders, Dremel tools, leather working equipment, jewelry making equipment, some stuff for airbrushes. Back wall, this is where I keep labeled different screws, different nails, hardware. Try to keep everything labeled. Bearings, hinges, springs, washers, turnbuckles, pipe clamps, whatever you might need. Down there are cases of nails. And over the years, cans of screws, bolts, nuts, hardware. There's the roller out feed table for my table saw. My platen for using my planer as a joiner. Alright, here's my bench. It's got a Wilton tail vise on it. It's 4x8. It's large for one person to work on, but you gotta remember, most of my career I was a carpenter. Me, my father worked in here. One guy would work on one side of the bench, the other person would work on the other side of the bench. So the full 4 foot made sense then. And I'm just emotionally attached to the bench now. It's not going to go anywhere. Underneath it I have granite stone, heat guns, Craig pocket hole jigs, jigsaws, fine undercutter, Hitachi right angle, porta-cable bandsaws. Underneath is also drills, various hand tools. The heart of my shop is a Delta Unisaw, 52-inch Beismeyer, again, on wheels. It has to be able to roll around. Incremental gauge. The key thing is portability and flow of work. Here's my Delta Abrasive planer. I got that also situated by the door and the door into the stock room. Again, on rollers. Wood stove. The shop is only heated by wood. I live here in New England, so I hate to give up that much square footage, but I absolutely need it. Up here we have bar clamps, Bessie clamps, my router table, which I've already done a video on, air compressor for the shop. The California Air Tools Ultra Quiet Compressor is just that. If you're used to like an Hitachi, double tank air compressor, this thing is quiet. Here's a carving and sanding station with built-in filtration. Fordham grinder. High-speed dental drill. Jet dust collector. Again, on rollers, I can pull it out, attach it wherever I want. I've got another jet air cleaner overhead that I just let run continuously. I've got a Reliant 16-inch bandsaw that I do most of my cutting with, resaw work, and anything that's too big for the Shopsmith. Assorted hand tools. As I say, many of these hand tools are passed down from my grandfather to my father to me. That's my grandfather's old tool chest there on the bottom. And again, hammers, pliers, drivers, coping saws, dovetail saws. I do like the New Concepts coping saw. Expensive, but worth it. This bottom cabinet here are all my Forstner bits, my standard brad point bits, my metric brad point bits. All my layout equipment is all there. My Japanese saws, all my sharpening equipment, my carving rolls there. I'm a big fan of the Swiss made. I don't think you can do much better than the Swiss made gouges. Also in here are more files, little detail files, carving files. Sharpening equipment. I say the shop is not large. But I've got everything in it that I need. This rolling chest on the bottom was Dad's job site tool chest. I keep in that my multi-layer inlay router templates and more sharpening equipment. And another router. Also under this bench are boxes with other routers. My router of choice for the router table, as well as for heavy duty use, is the DeWalt DW625. I don't think they make it anymore, but if you can find it secondhand, darn good router. Takes a lot of abuse and keeps on going. Alright, let's go into my wood storage room. Just get in here and back up a little bit. As you first walk in is maple, bird's eye maple, curly maple, poplar, mahogany, walnut, cherry, pine, plywood. Everything in the back there is all moldings and oak stock, mainly red oak. As you can tell, this is also my workout area. There's the additional DeWalt scroll saw. And over here we have 1-inch belt sander with 8-inch disc. And here we have our oscillating sander. Down the bottom here is a Fox horizontal belt sanding table. Again, as I need them, I pull them out. Jewelry drill press, Delta mortising slide, grinding stones. These buckets are filled with scraps of different species of hardwoods. I use these little pieces for my intarsia. Another bucket of clamps. You can never have too many. This is the type of basket they used to make here. Sheet goods storage. I'll do a video on this one at one point, but there's a 10-foot wooden surfboard. And again, up here, it's all labeled storage, door hinges, brass hardware, old door hardware, pegboard hooks, drawer slides, pipe threading. This stack of wood back here, let's see if I can position myself here. Most of that stack is 5/4 red oak, and then there's some 4/4 curly beech, some cherry, and a few miscellaneous hardwoods, but that pile is mainly red oak. There's my table saw cross-cut sled. So as you can see, most of the equipment in my shop is mounted on wheels so I can arrange it as I need it. You don't need a ton of equipment. I try to be organized. It doesn't come naturally to me, but I try to keep everything in a sensible location where I can get to it. All right. Well, that's pretty much my shop. And again, this is just about the size of a normal garage, about 430 square feet. My shop lighting is all just LED strand lighting I picked up at Job Lot. I mean, the stuff's only like $14 a piece to buy the LED, so I switched everything over from fluorescent. Back in the day, that 52-inch fence was a real godsend, but if I had to do it again, I'd only have the 32-inch fence. I don't need that width anymore. But I'm not likely to change it. I do about an even mix of handwork versus machine work. All right. If you have any questions, let me know, but this is your basic woodworking shop. Table saw, a 12-inch joiner, a 6-inch, 6-inch joiner, 12-inch planer. Basically, once you have those two items, everything else you can do by hand. Slide miter is nice. I can't see having a radial arm saw anymore. We had one, I got rid of that years ago. Once you have a slide miter, I just don't see the need. I know there are some people that swear by them, but I don't see the need for what it takes up for in the shop. Every tool in my shop has to earn its place. There's not a lot of room in here. Like I say, I straightened up in here, but I didn't clean it immaculately. It's a shop. It's not supposed to be that clean. This is about as good as my shop gets. Where the tools are put back where they belong. Once I make a mess, I move on. Before I move on to the next job, I clean the shop back up. That's the thing with a small shop. You can only make one mess at a time. Go ahead, make a mess, but then clean it up before you move into the next. That way you know where your materials are, where your tools are, what you need to replenish. You're not going to know that unless you've straightened back up. All right, well, once again, if you like the content, do me a favor, subscribe. If you have any questions about the shop layout or any of the tools I use, let me know, I'll answer them. Well, until the next video, have yourselves a nice day. Bye-bye.